Romania, a country known by fans of the automobile to be the birthplace of Dacia. It's also home to the world's first industrial oil refinery, and was also home to the invention of the fountain pen. However, from 2007, its capital, Bucharest, came alive to the noise of sound-bending V8s, flat 6s and V12s. This is the Bucharest Ring. It hosted rounds of the FIA GT and British F3 Championships from 2007 to 2008. The track was certainly at the centre of the action when it came to locations. One of the country's most iconic landmarks, the Palace of the Parliament, was located within the grounds of the just over 3-kilometre circuit. The track was designed by a name that you may recognise in the world of circuit designing, Hermann Tilke. Along with hosting rounds of the FIA GT Championship, British F3 Championship and Dacia Logan Cup, the track was also meant to host a round of the GP Masters Series. However, that championship fell through after the 2006 season. The event was held by an organisation called City Challenge. It was a company that intended to hold race events, particularly with GT cars, around several major cities. Hence the title, City Challenge. The track layout was quite interesting. I mean, you wouldn't think from this map that this track had the same amount of left and right hand corners. However, it has 7 each. It was quite a fast street circuit. It had several long straights for you to push your car's engines to the maximum. However, it also had an awful lot of low to medium speed chicanes, which, when you look back at the footage and see the cars going through there, it did disrupt the flow of the circuit quite a lot. This also had another side effect. It made places which, in theory, could have had bigger braking zones, with the longer straights, have smaller braking zones, which generally cause less opportunities for overtakes to be created. Although that being said, I think I may know why. It could have something to do with how much landscape/natural space there was, which in turn has an impact on how much space can be used to make runoff areas. In essence, I think no more space would be possible in trying to make runoff areas deemed suitable enough if the cars were travelling at the higher speeds. So to compromise, the chicanes were used as a way of keeping the maximum speed possible lower ever so slightly. However, to be honest, for me, that's where the criticisms end for this track. If you ignore the chicanes that were on the Bucharest Ring, then it had good corner variety. You had typical 90-degree bends, but also fast open sweepers. Especially watching the F3 cars go around those bends with the corner speed that they can carry, it's one of those sights that as a racing fan, who enjoys cars visibly being pushed to their limits, it's very satisfying. Also, the pit lane is probably the most normal pit lane I've ever seen on a street track. You enter it, turn left slightly, and from there on in, it's just a straight line, including the pit exit, which has a normal merger back onto the track. So many street circuits have weird pit lanes. Yes, I know they're probably built as best as possible to the geography of the landscape that is available, but that doesn't stop them from being sometimes strange and unpractical. Also, there was good grandstand access for spectators. You'd definitely be able to find a comfortable vantage point where you could see a decent chunk of the track. The track also had good width for most of the circuit. It did tighten up in some sections, the chicane after turn 1 and the roundabout for example. However, apart from that, you had a lot of asphalt to play with, which not only gives more spaces for a driver's hungry eyes to get enticed by, but it also reduces the chances of frustrating and monotonous track blockages. Also, I can't help but imagine that just seeing those GT cars pound round the circuit with those amazing engine sounds, with the palace in the background, would be an amazing thing to experience and listen to in person. So, why did this event end? Well, it was financial issues which put this race on hold beyond 2008. But there is one other thing that I'd like to go over before we end this episode here. I would be very intrigued to know who on earth thought it would be a sensible idea in the British F3 scheduling team to put the Bucharest round a week after a round at Silverstone. For that year, all the teams that took part in the Bucharest round were teams based in the UK, and there were a fair number of those teams which were small operations. Take Howell Lloyd for example. The team that he ran for was his family-owned team called CF Racing. They weren't even running in the top class, called Championship class. they were running in the category below the national class. Not only for them would the cost of travelling to the destination be daunting enough, but also take into account actually getting to Bucharest in the first place. They'd have to travel roughly 1,600 miles to get from Silverstone to Bucharest in 1 week for a small family team based in the UK for a national championship based in the UK. How on earth that made sense, I have no idea. Credit to them and the other teams for making it to the track on time. I'd love to know how that was organised, plus how stressful it would be to organise it in the first place. Either way, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Did you like this track? Or do you think someone should have got a fountain pen and used it to cancel the contract after the first year? Say what you think in the comment section below, along with any other street tracks you'd like to see me cover. However, until the next video, enjoy the rest of your day.